What is up, everyone? It's Gage here, and today I want to talk about a very special month, Suicide Awareness Month. So I decided this month, I didn't do a lot for this month, and next year I will definitely improve upon that, but I'm going to share my story of when I was very suicidal. And it was a very dark time in my life. It was a very transitional part of my life, you know. So I don't regret it, but for those that are struggling, that see the end of the tunnel is very dim, you guys can be further from the truth. There is light. You guys, in that mindset, you know, we have blinders on. We're only seeing like what's happening right in front of us every day, and not seeing what could be beyond. Like, and when we're in these mindsets, we victimize ourselves and we see dark and gray in the world. And I can relate to that pain. All you feel is, it's, you feel a lot of things, but mostly it's just pain. And I want to share my story, even if it helps just one of you guys. That's all that I could ever ask for. So this starts, obviously, actually starts in the pandemic, but it starts a little before that. Growing up. Now, I have a family that deeply loves me, and I love them. It wasn't the easiest childhood, you know, especially being autistic. I was diagnosed at 5. At an early age, I didn't speak, and I showed very high levels of intelligence. I remember there's like my mom would keep treats up in the cabinet, and as a kid, I would stack boxes like staircases, and I would get the treats from it that way. So my mom had to do all kinds of things, and I even got a house one time, and this is with them having security in the house. So at a young age, I showed very high intelligence, and I didn't speak, which is a big sign of autism in a lot of autistic adults and children. And that's how it happened. You know, that's how why they found out I was autistic. I was diagnosed at 5 years old. I didn't really know I was autistic until I was in middle school, until I was like 13, I believe. And and as young as I can remember, I was bullied. You know, not always for autism, because not everyone knew back then. It wasn't really up till middle school that it really got bad. Middle school, at 7th grade, I played in, that's when I started playing football. And they would have us this is my first year in special eds. I was in special ed from 7th to my senior year of high school. And they would have us do job sites. I think it was borderline child labor, but like they would have us dust the lockers and the hallways. They would have us go to like 2 to 3 job sites a week. To clean up trash from Walmart, to clean up churches, even one in Cador's Park. That was in 6th grade, though. That was a little bit before my middle, yeah, it was my first year of middle school, and, yeah, it was, the second year of middle school. I forget I started in 5th grade, but yeah, and I can understand, because like in one aspect, you know, you're saying, okay, this is great, like good job skills for the kids that have a hard time working and don't fully understand, but they bunch us all together, different intelligence, different diagnoses, and obviously there's kids in wheelchairs that were more physically enabled to do things, as much as us, and every day's bunch of stuff together. They didn't really like, obviously. And I can't blame teachers. They only have 7 hours a day. It's not like they can help everybody, even though it doesn't matter how much they want to. But the system, unfortunately, created more cons and pros in that situation. And the people that were going to regular classes, because we would go to 3, 4 regular classes during the week when we weren't doing job sites, were targets. 4 or 5 of us were targets, and I was one of them. And I was really bullied. I was severely bullied. Even my football team. And my football team bullied me too. Luckily, I had a couple people in there that were cool and helped me out and had my back. But it was very difficult, you know. And no matter what I did, because I tried so hard to fit in with them, I wanted to be normal, as I called it back then. I masked as hard as I could, and I wanted to protect my classroom because a lot of them looked up to me because I was playing football. I was in regular classes, so in that class I was one of the higher functioning people in there, and I felt like I wanted to be like, and a part of me, even though I kind of denied it, a part of me wanted to be a role model to them, and I also wanted to be I wanted to be normal, at least in their standards, and it affected me because I was trying to fit in, and I would fail after time because I wasn't as fit as other people, and I couldn't do work like the other kids did because I wasn't taught that, and it brought you down after a while, because you feel so alone, like an outcast, and it makes you feel almost worthless, like you were never good enough to begin with. And during this time, my parents were going through a divorce, and it was not a clean divorce. It was rough, for everyone involved. My parents were going through a lot. I mean, when I was born, like my mother and father were probably like my age. They were just kids. They're still really young, and still figuring out what they really were doing. And at this point, they already had a son. Which is my older brother, and I can understand why they felt so lost in that time, because they were still figuring out who they wanted to be and where do you want to go from there. Because when you're married to someone for like 20 years and you've been with them since you're like very young, like it can be very difficult. And that's why a lot of people in divorce have a lot of struggles and things to heal from, because not every relationship's perfect. But my parents were always mentally there, especially when I needed them. And I used to be very angry and resentful of that, but I understood. Once I got a little bit older, I understood why. Because they were figuring out they're still figuring out them, and they can always mentally be there. I always had a roof over my head, food, but I never had them mentally there, and it was very difficult, So at home, and in high school, especially, like one thing I would do after school was just watch anime. Oh, actually, after practice, because I had football. But after practice, I would just watch One Piece. I ate a lot, and I did a lot of those things to distract myself from a lot of things I was feeling inside. Because if I faced them, I would break down. And each day I was getting like 4 to 5 hours of sleep because I played my video games all day, not just for entertainment, but to distract myself through my mind. Because I was not doing something, my mind was just racing, and all these memories of getting bullied and thinking, man, why did I stand up for myself? I felt weak, and I would, some nights I would cry. I would break down because then it would all hit me at once, and after a while, I didn't know it. And maybe I didn't want to know it, but I was suffering from depression. And I never thought about ending my life during that time, because luckily I still had people in school that I hanged out with, and I had friends, but school was one of the hardest times, but also a time that helped me get away from feeling completely alone, because I had friends there, and I had people that I cared about in school that I still talk to this day. And in high school especially, for me, I was the person that would smile the most, but beyond that smile, I was suffering more than people originally thought. Because I always looked happy, and I would act silly, foolish, I guess you could call it, but I was suffering greatly inside. I heard this quote by someone in my class, because I was in social studies. This is my sophomore year of high school. The people that smile the biggest are the ones that are suffering the most. And that's not always the case, but for me, I felt that deeply, because that's what I was doing. And that's when I started realizing, that's fucking what I'm doing. That's what I'm doing. That's when depression started to come in. Because then now my awareness is there now, because like someone said the words, that were always inside me, but I never wanted to hear. And it hit me. And this is that year was a blessing also. I met my second older brother T. He wasn't my blood and he wasn't my adopted brother, but he was my brother nonetheless. We spent a lot of time together, and that was a time when my parents were going for a divorce, and my brother was in the military. He was, I think this is the time when he was in Turkey. He was he was very far away, you know, and I felt very alone. And he was there for me. We would talk. We would walk in the park. He would take me to the park and take me out to eat, and we would just talk about random things. He always asked me about school, and I always talk about my dreams. You know, even how crazy were, because I would say, yeah, I want to be a quarterback for the Vikings, or I want to be a writer. And T, not for 1 second, doubted me, and it really meant so much to me in that time, because some people in my family and people that I've met for school or that knew about my diagnosis would pity me and judge me, because they thought, you know, they're like almost like, poor him, you know, he won't accomplish as much as he could ever dream, you know, or he won't be able to get to that, you know, and the best he probably could do, you know. Unfortunately, the job sites have showed me that that they're preparing for us to have like a low-income job that's basically janitor. And even in college, I was thinking like going to Penn State, and they're like, you gotta be more realistic. So it's a lot of things. And the things that meant me the most was the love he showed me and the belief. I never seen someone believe in me like that. He saw my pros, even when I saw my cons. I didn't believe what I was saying, but he did, because I felt so lost. I just wanted something to hold on to, something to look forward to, because I didn't see much of a future for myself. And my senior year of high school, going forward a little bit, I moved with my brother. He came back from Turkey. He's got stationed in McGuire. And that was my senior year of high school. And he moved in. I moved in with him, and it really was a big part of my life. He really pushed me to working out, to even doing daily tasks. Because I was the youngest, and my parents kind of babied me a little bit, but my brother pushed me hard to be my best self, and he helped me with studying and things. And he was struggling with his own things, but he was always there for me as much as he possibly could. And I am extremely grateful, because he's been a huge part of my life. And I got honor roll that year. You know, first time I felt like I was worthy, you know, and I did it. I almost didn't believe it. And you know, even that time I denied it. It's like, I'm not taking that shit. You know, I was trying to, even though everyone was bringing me up, I was bringing myself down. Like, no, that's not real. They probably just gave it to me because whatever. And I was not proud of it, you know. And even though inside I knew that I did it, you know, but I wanted to deny it. Because I was still in that victim mindset. And I was several years deep into that, and that's what I fed into. And the next year, I went to Maryland, because I didn't really know what I wanted to do yet. I was kind of very lost, so I went with my brother and father. We moved to Maryland, and this is one of the worst places you could be, especially when you're feeling lost. Now, not all of it was bad. There were some good moments, and I met some cool people there, but ultimately it was not the greatest environment to be in, especially when you're in a very depressed state in the pandemic. And I just fucking, everything I felt from years and years, it was like a cup, you know. It was already filled up from everything, from all the years, and now the environment and not having school distract me, it overfilled, and now it bubbled over. So now I'm feeling everything, and I got to the point where I just felt numb with pain. All I felt was pain, and I would listen to sad music, Fast Car. That was one song that I remember listening to a lot. I felt lost, and they would speak in the song. The lyrics was, "We're gonna go to the city, leave our old life behind, and go and just drive on until we get to the city. Even if it's just getting a small job, whatever. Just living a new life." And I felt that because I wanted to leave, but I felt like there was nothing there, and I felt lost. And Fireflies is never one just take me away from here. I don't want to be here anymore. And that's how I felt, a lot of the time. That's why I listen to a lot of songs. Those songs I listen to are Below October, just very big, very depressing songs. And even when I played video games, it used to be my biggest distraction. And I got to the point where it didn't help at all. And I was lashing out. And I just had just angry moments. I felt so bad, body wise and mentally. I felt like shit, and sometimes I'll lash out. I'm like, fucking get away. And those are the two people I loved, but I was such in a mindset. I was very unconscious, and I didn't realize the people I was hurting around me. Even if it's verbally, it hurts. And I would walk. And that didn't really help me. So I walk outside just to clear my head, and I started singing. Every day I would start singing different ways to end my life, because I felt like I was a prisoner in my own life. I felt like nothing would fucking change, nothing. And my father was in a very depressive state as well. He wasn't doing very well, so it was a lot of things mixed in one, and I just felt like I was in a nightmare that would never. That is every day. It was relentless, and I wanted to fucking end. I wanted to end my life, and it got to the point. And it was a little bit after my 20th birthday, because I remember after my 20th birthday, I'm like, I'm looking in the mirror, I'm like, I'm 20 years old, what the fuck am I doing? What the hell am I doing, man? I'm 280 pounds, depressed as much as I possibly could ever be, and I'm not going anywhere. I'm exactly where I've been for a majority of my years, the majority of my life, and I almost stopped. I almost forgot when was the last time I truly was happy. And one day I just closed my eyes and held a knife to my throat. And I closed my eyes and I just contemplated. A part of me thought about the consequences of what that be. And I remember the show 13 Reasons Why this girl ended her life. And she gives these tapes out, 13 reasons why she ended her life. And you can, in the show, you see how much her family's affected, everybody around her, and how much could have changed if she would have spoke about it. But she never really gave herself a chance to live. And I started flashing back to my brothers, Hunter and T, my mother and my father, people that were very close to me. And I decided to give life one more chance. So I talked to my brother, and I told him everything. It was the first time, because I felt like a burn. That's why I never told anyone how I truly felt. And I didn't really want to understand it myself at the time. I didn't want to be a burden. And I told him everything. I just kind of broke down, and I kind of shied away when I was telling them, because I just felt guilty putting this on them. But I knew this is the only way. This is the only way. I was going to give myself a chance to tell one of the most important people in my life, because I knew, he might be able to help. He's my best friend, And he told me how much it would affect us if I left, and how much I've really done in my life, that I'm not worthless, and I felt his words, it wasn't out of desperation or pity, it was reminded me of who I truly am, not the one person I thought I was, that thought I was worth nothing, the person I hate looking in the mirror. And Hunter helped me, he showed me meditations, and he showed me some role models that he looked that he was learning under, like Tony Robbins was a big one. And that's where I was watching his videos, doing his meditation called priming, and I just started meditating, working out, saying, just pushing myself, because I decided right then and there I was gonna live life. I was gonna give life one more chance and give it all I fucking got. And 2 weeks in, I feel like shit in this time still. Yeah, I feel better. I feel like I have a little bit more life in me because I had no future. But what I did was treat this as my training grounds, and I worked my ass off doing P90X, doing because I went hard my workout. I was actually for the first month I did small workouts like push-ups and I would run outside and things like that just to start the process. But 2 weeks in, I'll never forget this day. It's a day that I can never forget. I'm watching TV. I think I was watching Jim Quick. Because I was learning a lot from him. Very, very powerful person. Especially he's a memory master. But I was watching TV, and my father and brother came in the room and told me that he was dead. And I was like, there's no way he's dead. There's no way. And I listened to what they had to say, and I went in my room and I just broke down crying. I dropped to my knees and I was in shock. I couldn't believe it. I was like, I just started sobbing. Like, why would you fucking leave? Why would you leave me? And because I lost my brother. He was a guy I always thought would be an uncle to my kids, and he's a person I deeply loved. He was one of my best friends. And he was one of the few people that were there for me, truly there for me. And he didn't have to be. And I had two choices to make. First one was a part of me wanted to die right then and there, to see him again. But a deeper part of me, I believe it was Source, and my higher self was saying he would never want you to do this, Gage. Like, he would never want you to do this, and you came so far. You came so far, and so I decided that I was going to live life how I wanted to, and I'm going to honor his life. And I think a part of him was there too. I think he was there with me, and so I pushed myself as hard as I can. I had something inside me that it burned right through me. Like, I had life that I've never felt before, this fire inside me, and I worked as hard as I can. In 4 months, I lost 40 pounds, and I was gaining muscle. I was gaining more happiness, or I should say more peace, and that was the start of it all. And I moved to Gettysburg the next year. I started doing this program by Tony Robbins, and I just grew my mind, expanded, and I felt so good about myself. But also at that time, I actually gained a bit of an ego, because I've changed my life, transformed so much, but I got arrogant with it, and I lost sight of why I did this and why it was so important. And to the point where I just kind of burnt out, because I was just working out twice a day. I was going super hard, and I was trying to prove something. But really, I should have been proving to myself instead of other people. Because it doesn't matter what other people think. It really depends what you matter. What do you think of yourself? Because you're the one that's going to be with you every day. So that's what's going to matter. And when I moved to Florida, that was when I met a lot of awesome people. Met people for the drum circle, the Blueberry Patch, kind of hippie type of places, but really open-minded, spiritual people, and I love those places. Really helped me find amazing people, spiritual leaders, even people that do Instagram and things like that are do social media content, and people that were just free, that were just traveling, seeing life as it was, and that first year it wasn't perfect, but because it was still a transitional year, but Florida became a home. The year before when I left, I just felt I was working, I was drinking a lot, I was not happy because I lived for my whole life of going to Gettysburg. A bit of a farm town, but I thought that was it. I'm all good. But that was a pond, and Florida was an ocean. And from where I wanted to go, I wanted to go to the ocean. And at that time, I was doing You Buck That. I was doing football content, but eventually I had an autism burnout because I was working at this restaurant job for a couple months. I burnt myself up severely, and I felt like I could barely get out of bed, and I was not in a great mental state. But my father recommended the Hospital Forest to me, and I was like, maybe I'm meant to go. And I couldn't tell you, the people I've met and the experiences I've had are life changing. I mean, the people there, there's this organization, Visionary Vets. They're an organization led by vets that help other vets that are going for depression or PTSD, things like that, and they have remedies they use, and they have sweat lodges they do. It really is a powerful experience that helped a lot of people. And the people in those organizations are incredible people, and I'm truly grateful to have met them, and all the other people I've met, they become like family. They really have. They're my soul family, and even forward to now, it's been a bit of a struggle. It hasn't always been always sunshine or rainbows, but it's been wonderful. And then this year I met Team Awesomeness, who's helped me greatly, and I'm looking forward to working with them more. I'm just really grateful for the people that have been here for me, and now my main goal is to help my autism community and give more than I ever take, because it comes back in abundance, and I truly believe that. Thank you guys for watching this story or listening to me and watching this. I hope this helps you guys, and I'm just truly grateful for you all, and thank you for being part of this journey. I'm truly grateful, and much love to you all.